The activity movements to Tehran, where one Omni-Corp worker, Rick Maddox, Jackie Earl Haley, is distributing red resource armbands to Kelly Perkins, one of Novak's correspondents and camera groups, as they notice the huge droids and different robots doing a sweep on residents nearby. From inside a compound, a mother and her child, Naveed, Noran Gulamgas, watch the droids take care of their responsibilities. Naveed's dad Arash, Mason Motezdi, drives a gathering of self-destruction planes outside to catch themselves winding up dead live on worldwide TV. They send off their assault, with every one of the aircraft winding up dead by the droids. However, they prevail with regards to taking out a portion of the M-208 droids themselves. Naveed runs out with a blade close by and is gunned somewhere near one of the ED-209s on the lookout. The camera group catches all of this. Novak go on by appreciating how the droids dealt with the circumstance, calling attention to that Omni-Corp president Raymond Sellers. Michael Keaton has the right plan to push forward for utilization of these droids in the US. Yet Representative Hubert Dreyfus, Zach Grenier, is against it, having given the Dreyfus Act to forestall this sort of policing. Novak closes by inquiring as to why America is so robophobic. In Detroit, Detroit Police Division criminal investigator Alex Murphy, Joel Kinnaman, strolls to a gathering with boss Karen dignitary, Marianne Jean-Baptiste. In her office are two different police, John Lake, Daniel Cash, and Andre Daniels, Casey Collins. Dignitary censures Murphy for the occasions of the earlier evening. Murphy and his accomplice Jack Lewis, Michael K. Williams, had gotten into a shootout with men working for Kingpin Antoine Wallen, Patrick Garrow, killing 6 of them and basically injuring Lewis. Lake and Daniels are not content with Murphy for encroaching upon their examination concerning Wallen. However, Murphy counters that their failure to deliver a capture on Wallen following 2 years of examination recommends them to be grimy. When Lake and Daniels leave the workplace, Murphy recounts his story. Murphy's story is told in flashback. He and Lewis have been covered to take action against shipments of unlawful guns. Acting like purchasers, they interview a seller named Jerry White, Jordan Johnson Hines, yet they start to believe he's selling messy weapons. Behaving like they accept Jerry is a covert cop, they alarm him into uncovering that he works for Antoine Wallen. Murphy and Lewis run the chronic quantities of the weapons being sold and find something stunning. They are firearms that ought to have been secured in the proof room, and that implies Wallen has cops on his finance. Contrary to what they might think is best, Murphy and Lewis go to a cafe to meet with Wallen. Lewis demands that they need reinforcement, since Wallen's folks could shoot them for target practice. However, Murphy figures calling for reinforcement will warn Wallen. The gathering begins without a hitch. Wallen and his right-hand man listen to Murphy and Lewis, and seem to succumb to their secret personalities. Tragically, similarly as they're going to finalize the negotiation, someone deceives Murphy and Lewis to Wallen and tells Wallen by cell phone. Wallen quickly leaves the table similarly as a couple of vehicles pull up before the eatery, and a gathering of shooters furnished with guns and submachine weapons open this charge. Murphy and Lewis return, shoot with their guns, nailed down in one of the corners. After an extended trade of gunfire, during which a few colleagues are killed, Murphy gets away from outside by going through a glass window into a back street. 2 or 3 cohorts are holding up in the rear entryway to snare him. Murphy involves a dumpster as a safeguard while progressing on and taking shots at the partners in crime. He kills 2 of them, and the excess one. Departures by foot. Lewis gets ready to follow Murphy when a partner in crime concealing in the kitchen blasts out and fires on him. He figures out how to return shoot and kill the thug, yet in the process is shot in his right shoulder. Murphy stays with him until an emergency vehicle can show up, and Wallen figures out how to get away. In the present, Boss senior member reminds Murphy that he shouldn't do such a task without conversing with her first. In Washington, D.C., Sellers is affirming before a Senate subcommittee hearing with Representative Dreyfus concerning the question of utilizing Omnicop droids as policing. Dreyfus contends that a machine couldn't feel anything if it somehow happened to kill anyone, even a kid. And Sellers hesitantly concedes so a lot. On return to Detroit, Sellers gets together with his advertising partners, Liz Klein, Jennifer Ely, and Tom Pope, Jay Baruchel. Understanding that the greater part of the country's populace won't remain behind robots safeguarding their roads, Sellers suggests that they get a man into a machine. At the Omnicop Therapy Clinic, Dr. Dennett Norton, Gary Oldman, and his partner J. Kim, Amy Garcia, are keeping an eye on a man who has had his arms supplanted with fake mechanical appendages. In spite of the fact that he is anxious to utilize them from the outset, Dr. Norton persuades him to try it out. The man begins to play the guitar, and he and his significant other are overwhelmed with euphoria. The man's personal levels start to rise, which would slow down the program. He hushes up, however, at that point says he wants feelings to play. Dr. Norton is then summoned by Sellers. They, alongside Klein and Pope, survey potential tragically handicapped person possibility for the man in a machine program, every one of them veteran cops, yet Dr. Norton and Sellers reject everyone either because of their actual structure or their mental screenings. In the interim, it's uncovered to us that the two officials Boss senior member shoot out of her office prior, Lake and Daniels, are the ones who deceived Murphy to Wallen. They meet Wallen at a bar, where he tenderly reprimands them for not advance notice him sooner. He considers paying off Murphy to get him in line, yet Daniels counters that that is impossible, as Murphy will descend more earnestly on Wallen from now on. The two criminal investigators figure it would be more straightforward to simply kill Murphy.